All right, now we begin the real work. We're going to talk about the first and the most important impact condition that you need to master, and it's called low point. Now, if you don't control low point, you don't control the strike. And if you don't control the strike, then nothing else really matters. Not the face angle, not the path of the club, and not even contact with the ball. You see, low point determines whether the club contacts the ball before the ground or the ground before the ball. When it's mastered, you reduce or eliminate fat and thin shots from your game. And that's a big deal. You're finally going to start compressing the ball and controlling your distance. Now, most golfers over 50 believe they have a swing issue, a swing problem. They actually have a low point problem. And here's the truth. Low point is not controlled by your hands. It's controlled by your transition shift, where your pelvis and your chest are at impact and how your body shifts and rotates. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you what actually controls your low point. Because once low point becomes predictable, solid contact becomes normal. When solid contact becomes normal, your ball flight becomes predictable. So let's get started. So before we get into the first impact factor, I want to say something about the length of your backswing. So I'm a big believer, after 50 years old, you need to shorten your backswing up a little bit more because it makes it easier on your body. It's less stress. And the fact is when you get over 50, we start eventually to lose some of our mobility in our thoracic spine, that middle back area. And that just means your shoulders aren't going to turn as much as they used to. In golf instruction, the difference between your pelvis rotation and your chest rotation is called the X factor. And that's just going to reduce a little bit as you age. Now, what this does, it allows you to put less stress on your back and your shoulders as you go back. I believe that a good backswing length is one that you can go back comfortably and hold. When you start stretching it this way here, that's when the extra tension and possible injuries come over your body. Now, if you looked at the video that was all about creating a less random golf swing, we created this type of movement, okay? And there's an arm lift in the golf swing as well. So the arms come up a little bit. Now, I'm a big believer in letting that arm lift become less. So that's more rotational power. The fact is that when you lift your arms big this way here, they have to come down again, and that complicates the golf swing. So I'm a big believer that consistency comes from a shorter backswing, more compact. It's not something you have to stretch out and get disconnected with. Your arms don't need to get as high as they can. They just need to be in a comfortable position, and then we're going to get power a different way. Okay, now we get into the first impact factor that you've got to master. It's called low point. And I'm going to show you the controls that govern it. Now, what is low point? Very simply, the golf swing is on an inclined plane. So there's vertical movement, there's horizontal, and it's just the bottom of that arc. So it's right where it hits the ground. That's the lowest point of the arc, and that's why we call it low point. Now, it's very easy to indicate because it's where the club strikes the ground. We need that to be in front of the golf ball, not behind it. Okay, so we hit ball first and then ground. Now, what are the controls for that? Well, if we look at your body's impact condition, it's very clearly that golf pros are pretty much in the same position at impact. They're in various positions throughout the golf swing. There's a lot of differences there, but at impact, we always see that their pelvis center is way far forward. Okay, so their pelvis center, like their belt buckle, is literally over their left foot. Their chest is also forward as well. Their hips are rotated and their chest is rotated. So it's important to understand that the lower body is about twice as much as the chest, but they are both shifted forward. They've rotated, and this is a key, they've also come up a little bit. The head stays steady. In fact, in some golfers, the head actually stays back a little bit, but the body itself is forward, and that's what moves your low point that direction. Now, this is one of the primary controls that I need you to get. When you're creating your impact position, your pelvis is actually lifting and your chest is lifting as well. And when you rise up, your golf club actually will start to travel down. The opposite motion would you be staying in the same place, or possibly something you'd never want to do is stay behind the ball, because that makes the low point go behind the ball because now the club is traveling up. So this whole idea of trying to keep your head down or stay behind the ball will make the club go up, while actually moving your chest and your pelvis up makes the club go down. Now, it not only makes it go down, but it also makes it go forward. And so what you're going to achieve is a divot not only in front of the ball, but a shallow one, not a deep one where it goes into the ground too much and you maybe hurt your wrists. Okay, so it might look like this. Now that's why you see so many golf pros stick their finish in a very tall position, because starting in this position right here, right before you hit the golf ball, everything is coming upward. And that's what makes the golf club go down. Possibly the golf pro that proved this the most was the best female golfer of all time, Annika Sorenstam. If you look at her golf swing, she does not look like she's staying down or in the same place. There's a definite lifting in her golf swing, which moves the low point forward and shallow. Now I'm going to say something that I never want you to forget. We have to build your low point around your individual golf swing. And what I mean by that is you've got to go explore how you do it best. Now, the fact is although we would like you to move into your right side, then push off this right side early and get your pelvis all the way back over here for a nice weight transfer, not everybody, especially after 50, has that kind of dynamic balance or mobility. It has a lot to do with the strength of your legs, the condition of your knees. So to get the low point more to the left of the golf ball, more forward, it may mean that you can't transfer to the right so much. Maybe you need to stay more centered, more of a center pivot, and then move into your lead side. And if that doesn't work, then maybe you need to stay more on your lead side the entire time. More like this, okay? So you just never even put any weight or movement into your right side, and that might be what you have to do to get that low point in front of the golf ball. This is very individual, and it has a lot to do with your individual body. Okay, so how do the pros practice low point? Well, the evidence is right in the ground. It was Ben Hogan that said the secret is in the dirt. Now, I think he was talking primarily about practicing a lot, but there's another meaning, and that is the evidence of you as a ball striker is right there. Are you hitting the ground behind the ball, under the ball, or in front of the golf ball? Now, if you were to go to a PGA Tour event and actually watch them practice, you will see them with pinpoint accuracy over that low point. Okay, they have built their golf swing around low point, so they never hit a fat shot and a thin shot. And the reason they don't do that is because they play for money. Okay, it would be too penal. It would cost them too much money. Okay, so they train themselves right out of it, and that's what you have to do as well. All right, so I'm going to look right here. And this is exercise that I recommend if you're not getting your low point. Look right there where you want to hit the ground, because that right there is your target. Okay, so I'm going to set up as if I'm going to hit the ground in front of the golf ball. Now my ball moves back in my stance right into the middle. I set up to the golf ball. I'm looking right here. Might even set the golf club right here just to begin with and put my hips forward. I'm presetting this idea, this goal of actually hitting the ground right here, because that is now my target. Okay, I make a nice short backswing. A nice, beautiful shot where I hit the ball first and then I hit the ground. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit another shot. I'm going to move the ball right here, and I'm going to get another divot right in this area right here. Here I go. Okay, ball in the center. I'm looking right here, putting the club here. I feel my pelvis already shift this way, and I'm going to get a nice lift. Beautiful shot right there. Massive compression. And you can see where my divot is relative to where the ball is. And have fun on the driving range with this. You can actually make a straight line. You can go this way. You can carve your initials so everybody knows it was you that was there. To a large degree, I can go out after someone hits the ball in the driving range and kind of know what kind of ball striker they were just because of the evidence in the ground. When I see tight circles and squares where all the ground was taken out at the same time and a nice little patch, I know that it was a good player. If I don't see any divots at all, I know it was a high handicapper that's not hitting the ground at all. Okay, so you can tell a lot by the divot about how deep it is, how shallow it is, and especially where it is relative to the golf ball. Okay, the fact is that I cannot emphasize low point enough. It's the foundation of you becoming a great ball striker. So it's something you need to go out and practice before you go to the next video. This is the foundation, everyone. We build your golf swing around low point. And if you can go from now to the rest of your life making that divot in front of the golf ball, you're going to be a happy golfer. Now, just to clarify, the divot is actually not as far forward with your short irons as it is with your, say, long irons or hybrids, which are just slightly forward. And your driver, your low point, is actually behind the golf ball. But relative to your body, the low point stays in the same place. It's the ball position that's moving. So your driver, of course, your ball position is off your forward foot, and then all the way back for your wedges off of the middle of your stance. But your low point stays in the same place, which means your golf swing is the same. Okay, you're just simply learning how to hit the ground in the same place every time with each one of your golf clubs. Of course, your driver misses the ground, comes up and hits the golf ball. So now's the time to take a break, okay, and go out to the driving range. Hopefully, you can find a driving range that has nice grass, soft earth, where you can make that beautiful divot in front of the golf ball and go explore how you have to do it, okay? Find out how much you need to put your weight on your lead side, how much you can transfer and push off that back foot. We want to find out how you do it when you do it best. Doesn't matter what your golf swing looks like. What matters is where your low point is.